This is the second part of the presentation about logical order. We've recently learned about chronological and spatial orders. And now let's have a closer look at the other three, the inductive, deductive, and climactic. But before we begin, I'd like to emphasize the importance of logical order in academic writing. What exactly is logical order? Why is it important to learn about? What is the relevance of this in academic writing? Logical order is the arrangement of sentences that provides a pattern which organizes ideas in a way that makes the statements or the sentences coherent and cohesive. The purpose of logical order is to make things easier. Easier for us to write about the topic, easier for us to connect the ideas, easier for us to move from one idea to another, and easier for the readers to understand. In other words, through logical order, coherence in academic writing is achieved.
Inductive order. What is inductive order? Inductive order is a pattern of organizations wherein particulars are presented first, leading on to a generalization. In this arrangement, the topic sentence of the paragraph or the main idea is expressed in final statement, where it makes a special impression onto the reader. Inductive reasoning refers to making specific or particular observations, arguments, which together build towards a more broad general conclusion. Inductive starts with small things to get to the larger general thesis. Let's have some examples. All basketball players in your school are tall, so all basketball players must be tall. In these examples, all particulars are presented first, which leads us to a generalization that all basketball players must be tall. Next example. The chair in the living room is red. The chair in the dining room is red. The chair in the bedroom is red. All chairs in the house are red. In these examples, it's also the same. The particulars are presented first, which leads us to a generalization. So the main idea of inductive order refers to making specific or particular observation which together build towards a more broad general conclusion.
Deductive logic reasoning. This type of reasoning provides complete evidence of its truth of its conclusion. It is also a process in which a conclusion is based on the coordinates of multiple premises that are generally assumed to be true. Example. Premise. All apples are fruits. Premise. A Granny Smith is an apple. Conclusion. Therefore, a Granny Smith is a fruit. According to the first premise, all items that are classified as apples are also classified as fruits. According to the second premise, Granny Smith is classified as an apple. The first premise is general statement, while the second premise refers to a specific case. The conclusion says that a Granny Smith has to be a fruit because of its inherent properties as an apple. This deductive argument is valid, which means the conclusion necessarily follows from the premises. So thus a valid deductive argument means the premises and conclusion are true. Another example. Premise. All dogs have long ears. Premise. Poodles is a dog. Conclusion. Therefore, Poodles has long ears. Given the premises that all dogs have long ears and Poodles is a dog, it is logical to assume that Poodles has long ears. After all, in this example, long ears are inherent quality of dogs. This argument is valid.
The last type of logical order is the climactic order, from the root word climax. If we could remember the topic we've had in elementary or high school about parts of a story, the word climax should be familiar to us. This part of the story is almost the same as the climax that we are talking about in climactic order. The difference is that here, climax is the end of the paragraph rather than the peak of the story that comes before the following action. Now what is climactic order? Climactic order is a pattern that begins with a general statement, followed by specific details arranged according to the level of importance, and finally, the climax. This definition is so simple that it requires no further explanation. A good analogy would be the game of chess. In chess, when you make your first move, when you put your pawn forward, it's like saying, "the battle's on," or something. This can be compared to the general statement from the definition earlier. And so the game continues. Obviously, your first 3, 4, 5 moves aren't going to be directed towards the king, right? First, you have to get rid of the other pieces that get in the way, then slowly taking out the important ones. And once you've done that, that's when you attack the king. This is what the arrangement according to the level of importance is all about. Going back to playing chess, you know that the game is over when the king no longer has a chance, meaning whatever move the king makes, the player loses. This is now what we call climax. According to some resources, the purpose of climactic order is to startle readers. This can be shown in the following example. However, the main objective of climactic order is to make the paragraph convincing. Arranging the arguments according to their importance elevates the idea step by step, reaching its peak or the climax, where the most important idea is, making it more convincing. In fact, this is the principle of climactic order. It's to save the best, most vivid, most interesting, or most emphatic point for last.